how did a concert film shatter box office records? Here's the truth behind the deal Taylor Swift made with AMC and how it's paying out beaucoup bucks for the pop star. Taylor Swift The Eras Tour made a reported $92 million domestically in its opening weekend. At the time of this video, the movie's total worldwide box office earning is more than $178 million and still climbing. That is a tremendous amount of money for a documentary, which is the film genre the concert movie technically falls into. According to Out Magazine, the film broke AMC's record for first-day pre-sales, grossing $26 million in its first 24 hours of being on sale, outperforming the previous record breaker, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Now, since it's been out, it's already become the highest-grossing concert movie of all time. The previous king was Justin Bieber, whose Never Say Never grossed over $99 million at the global box office. This also makes the Eras Tour the first concert movie to make more than $100 million. Why was it such a big hit? Well, let's start with the obvious stuff. Taylor Swift is more popular than ever before in her 17-year career.
Now, I'm a Swiftie.
This certainly fueled the sensation that is the Eras Tour, and the fervor for this tour has only made Swift's spotlight shine brighter. Swift has cemented herself as the biggest act in pop music at this point in time. The tour showed just how large and diverse Taylor Swift's fan base is to sell as many tickets as it has for the prices they've gone for. Her astronomical rise has even been on the minds of many culture writers. The Guardian credits Swift's current ubiquity partly to the new pop music economy, where radio play matters less than cult-like followings discussing their favorite artists' every move on Reddit and TikTok. No matter the reason, the success of the Eras Tour, both the tour and the concert movie, happened because Swift has such an enduring base of fans. This is the biggest factor in the success of the Eras Tour film. Leftover demand from the North American leg of the tour is insatiable. Taylor Swift found a way to let even more money pour in while giving fans a second chance to see the show if they couldn't make it IRL.
I didn't get to go to the tour, so I'm excited to see it on the big screen.
Of course, it took a sizable investment to make the movie, $10 to $20 million, according to Puck, but that has more than paid off for Swift now that the film is taking control of the box office. The tickets for the Eras Tour were so scarce, and the resale prices were so high that it nearly broke the internet. Even though this is Taylor Swift we're talking about, we have to take into account the history of the genre when talking about expectations. While concert films occasionally turn out to be cinematic masterpieces like Gimme Shelter or Stop Making Sense, these aren't always the biggest money makers in a given year. Again, the highest-grossing concert movie until now was Justin Bieber's Never Say Never, which didn't crack $100 million. In a film landscape dominated by big studios and streaming platforms, it's been quite a while since a concert movie has felt like an event. Comparing this to the year's biggest movies, for instance, Barbie made almost $1.5 billion, Swift's box office takeaway might not seem like much. It's worth noting, though, that the budget for a concert documentary is often 10 times lower than that of a Hollywood production. Reportedly, the budget for the Eras Tour was $20 million. Compare that to, say, the $200 million budget for Killers of the Flower Moon. Taylor Swift The Eras Tour came to theaters on October 13, 2023, a week with no other major new movies. All the biggest movies at the box office the week the Eras Tour came out were released the week before. The movie that wound up being its biggest competition, The Exorcist Believer, even got out of the way in anticipation of Swift's dominance. Blumhouse founder Jason Blum tweeted the decision, saying, "Look what you made me do. The Exorcist Believer moves to 10/6/23. #Taylor wins." Even though it came out a week before the Eras Tour, The Exorcist Believer struggled anyway, making $26 million in its opening weekend. Word of mouth on that specific sequel was pretty sour, but even with a better critical response, an R-rated horror movie was never going to compete with the marketing force that is Taylor Swift. Outselling Killers of the Flower Moon in the concert film's second week in theaters is a much more impressive feat. Yes, Killers is a 3.5-hour R-rated drama, but it's from Goodfellas and The Departed director Martin Scorsese and features the considerable star power of Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio.
This wealth should come to us.
Yet despite the mostly glowing reviews, Killers of the Flower Moon could not compete with the Eras Tour. In a normal world, tickets to the Eras Tour would have been affordable for every family to bring their kids if they wanted to. Still, even if you could afford tickets, other factors got in the way. It's harder to travel with children, and kids have a harder time staying up late for a long concert. Eras Tour set lists were routinely over 3 hours long, but if your kid falls asleep in the middle of a 3-hour movie, well, it's not as big of a deal. Plus, it's a lot easier to get everyone together and file out of a movie theater than it is a sold-out stadium. In the time it would take you to get to the concert stadium parking lot, you can make the drive home from the movie theater or stick around and watch it again.
I'm gonna go to this movie at least 13 times.
Young people are a large part of Taylor Swift's demographic, and the fans who were too young to go to the show can see the movie with their parents. Immediately, that makes for a bunch of tickets sold, as evidenced by the pre-sale numbers that the Eras Tour movie put up. There's a strong argument for the IMAX potential of Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. The appeal is obvious. You are already going to the movie not for a narrative but for the immersive experience you can only get from being in a movie theater. IMAX's strengths enhance the audio-visual experience of movies with an emphasis on spectacle. The Eras Tour is all spectacle and a natural fit for the format. On opening weekend, the film was shown on 625 IMAX screens in 45 markets around the world, and IMAX sales accounted for a double-digit percentage of the opening weekend pre-sales. That is a pretty massive percentage for a format most movies don't even get released in. More screens mean more IMAX tickets sold, and of course, theaters charge more for IMAX tickets, which factors into the box office success of the Eras Tour. One of the reasons the Eras Tour film got made was that Taylor Swift took it on as a personal project. According to Puck, Swift and her family put up the reported $20 million that it cost to fund the project. It's not a surprise that they would be able to make this happen, given how much money they have made on the Eras Tour alone. According to Fortune, the tour is set to be the first to ever shatter $1 billion made in ticket sales. That's not even including the $75 hoodies and $45 t-shirts. When you're the biggest pop star in the world, it turns out you don't need something as silly as a movie studio to make something happen.
It's not true.
When it comes to the current competition, we've established that the Eras Tour is blowing everyone out of the water. But let's put that success in comparison to some of the biggest movies of the year. Barbie is the biggest hit of the year, grossing over $1.4 billion at the worldwide box office. Its competitor/companion, Oppenheimer, fell just shy of $1 billion. The Eras Tour was never going to hit the heights of these giants, nor that of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which grossed a mighty $1.36 billion. If we look closer to where the Eras Tour lands on the list, it seems sure to slip into the top 20 for the year. At $178 million in the first 2 weeks of release, Eras is looking to overtake Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, The Equalizer 3, and Insidious: The Red Door with another weekend of strong sales. The way the deal between Taylor Swift and AMC Theatres shook out is another potential reason for its runaway success. AMC agreed to a contract with Swift that earned her 57% of the earnings on the film and left AMC the rest. According to Variety, this is a smaller cut than many major studios take. Marvel is cited as an example of a studio that receives closer to 65% of the box office profits. Getting an advantageous deal could be quite a boon for AMC, as it turns out the company has a hit on its hands.
They announced Taylor Swift's movie broke the record for the most pre-sale tickets sold in one single day, and their CEO is predicting this will be very lucrative for the company.
According to MarketWatch, shares of AMC have fallen 73.3% in 2023, although the comparatively successful summer haul of Barbie and Oppenheimer created some cause for optimism. Taylor Swift's concert movie lighting up the box office may just continue the upward trend for the movie theater company. There are a couple of key things to glean from the box office success of Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. For starters, Swift's partnership with AMC sets a precedent for concert films going forward, one that has already been followed up by the other biggest female pop act in the world. Beyoncé's upcoming ambitious concert film, Renaissance, is going to be distributed through AMC theaters in a similar fashion. According to Variety, Beyoncé negotiated directly with AMC for the release of the filmed version of her Renaissance World Tour.
Did the Girls of Summer save the U.S. economy?
This doesn't just feel like the way of the future for concert movies, a genre that has been increasingly relegated to streaming platforms as the years go on. In the wake of recent labor tumult in the land of Hollywood, AMC is opening the possibility of working directly with filmmakers and creatives, without the need for a studio to act as a distributor.